Good morning and welcome to the Champion Center here on campus of the University of Massachusetts. It's a great day, an exciting day as we celebrate the appointment of our next women's basketball coach, Tory Verdi. It's always nice to have folks in this building, the John F. Kennedy Champion Center for UMass basketball, a special building for us as we build our men's and women's basketball programs. We've been in it for 7 months and it's already been a game changer for those two programs. Really excited about today and as I said, the celebration of this hire. Coach Verdi is somebody that has really separated himself and is someone that I think can take us to heights we haven't seen in women's basketball here at the University of Massachusetts. As we concluded our process, our search process, I think it's important to give thanks to some folks that were an integral part of us getting to today. First, our leadership, President Meehan and our Chancellor, Kumbal Subbaswamy. Both are in Boston today at Board of Trustees meetings and send their best. Was in conversation with them throughout the process, talking about where we were headed and the arrival at Coach Verdi as our next head coach, and their support has been outstanding. We had 3 members of our athletics council that I believe are all here today. It's put my eyeballs on all of them, but I think they're all here. And I'd like to thank each of them. All faculty, faculty members here on campus. Rebecca Spencer, our faculty athletic representative for the athletics department. Thank you, Rebecca. Pat Vittum, our chair of our athletics council, and Neff Walker, an assistant professor in the McCormick School of Sport Management and in the Eisenberg School of Management. Thanks to Rebecca, Pat, and Neff for your contributions in this process. Our athletic staff that had a role in this process as well. Derek Kellogg, obviously our men's basketball coach. He had the greatest job because he got to tour people through the facility, any of the candidates that came in, and speak with them about where we were headed on the basketball side. And I know he had a nice conversation with Torrey when he came to visit. Kevin Wisman in HR, a big part of the behind the scenes work that we did, as well as 2 folks in our academic unit, Pete Montague and Matt Comer, who met with each candidate and gave a good outline, a good framework for what we were doing in the classroom to our women's basketball candidates. Also, a thank you to our PR and communication staff, in particular Molly O'Mara, who's done an outstanding job in just her first year at the university. And then our women's basketball day-to-day contact, John Sinnott. I'd like to thank him as well for his work this year with our women's basketball program. Also be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our women's basketball staff, in particular Jen McCauley, Yolanda Griffith, Chris Wilgus, and Candace Walker for their work in this transition. It was a month-long transition. They really kept our student athletes engaged in the academic piece, as well as the work on the basketball court and in the community, and so I'd like to thank them for their work in this transition. And finally, probably one of the most important thanks I can give is to Doris Griffin, who led this search for us. Doris has been here just shy of a year now and has proven to be an absolute asset to our athletic department. She hates when I do this, when I give her any public praise, but I need to tell you how impressive she was, and I had supreme confidence in her through this process, and she lived up to it and exceeded it actually in many ways. Doris is organized, extremely calculating and strategic in her vision and plan for where this basketball program can go. She's got tremendous reach in the women's basketball landscape across the country. Folks that are in and around basketball know who Doris is, and she's seen success at places she's been as a player and as an administrator. She knows what it looks like and she knows how to get there. And so she was really instrumental in taking those blueprints for success and sharing them with our candidates. And that was something I think that really, in talking to Coach Verdi, I think helped recruit him to this job and recruit others that had interest in us and the university. And it's a university that sells itself, there's no doubt, but Doris was a big part of helping us sell our vision and making sure that we found a coach that aligned with that vision in the right way. So what I'd like to do now is actually invite Doris up to the microphone and to give her observations. She did all the heavy lifting for this search, so I wanted her to give her observations of this search process, and then we'll introduce our next head coach. Doris?
Good morning, everyone. This has been an intense, enlightening, and rewarding process. And speaking to the search process for hiring our next women's basketball coach, we moved with strategic purpose, committed to a few things. We were committed to proactively and aggressively building a talented, a competitive, and a diverse candidate pool. We were committed to initiating the process of building a community around our women's basketball program by conducting an inclusive interview process. And I know Ryan spoke to those in the department and those across campus who were involved in this process, but to Dr. Spencer, Dr. Walker, Pat, Matt, Pete, Derek, Kevin, and Tom, I want to echo Ryan's sentiment regarding our gratitude for your involvement and investment in this process. We can say it now, I know I drove you crazy with the emails and the instructions and the dynamic scheduling, so I appreciate your participation and investment in this process. Now, most importantly, we were committed to our student athletes, our current student athletes and our prospective student athletes, and hiring an individual who would create a culture committed to conditions for our student athletes to excel both academically and athletically while here at UMass. You know, I say that it was an enlightening and a rewarding process, and that I got to spend the last month speaking to why the University of Massachusetts really is a destination of choice for talented coaches and for, most importantly, gifted and talented students. With all due respect to our 20 sports programs and Coach Carville, who has experienced a phenomenal couple of weeks for men's ice hockey, with passionate conviction, I delivered messages regarding the fact that I think that we have all of the ingredients in place to be a women's basketball institution. Now, I say that in jest to Ryan, but I mean it with sincere, it's a sincere statement. As we looked at our program, our women's basketball program, and where it is today, and where we think we can go as a women's basketball program, we looked at the following characteristics, competencies, and skills. We wanted a leader with high integrity. We wanted someone with head coaching experience. We wanted a dynamic recruiter with a proven track record. We wanted someone with a high basketball IQ and an understanding and a knowledge of developing fundamental skills. We wanted someone with an appreciation and an understanding of women's basketball in this region. Then we wanted somebody with a knack for building a community around a women's basketball program. You know, I've spent the last 39 days talking about UMass women's basketball, and no, I have not been counting the days. And one of the things that you hope when you engage in discussions with prospective candidates and you engage in discussions with people who know the candidates, you hope for some common themes to emerge. And that was the case in this process with Coach Verdi. He's first class, he's a competitor, he's thoughtful, he pays an incredible amount of attention to detail, he's a connector, and he's a first class man. So we're happy, I'm happy to be here today. Ryan, thank you for the opportunity to lead this search. Coach Verdi, the Verdi family, welcome to UMass. I'm so excited about the future of our program under your leadership.
Thank you again for leading this search and ending in a great spot. And I think you don't want to hear from me much anymore. You want to hear from our new women's basketball coach. I will tell you just my quick observations about Torrey and what he brings to us. Extremely passionate head coach, passionate about what basketball and athletics can do for young people at a top 30 public research university. The power of that as it complements the academic experience. The success that he's had at all levels was really something that stood out to us as we looked for our next leader. He's intense in his desire to change the lives of the women in this program and in the programs that he's been associated with. And that was really powerful and important to us. He's a heck of a recruiter. He's going to bring the best and brightest to the University of Massachusetts. He's great in the community, extremely visible. As we did our homework, this is something that was thematic. It was something that everybody talked about, was his sense of pride in the community and how visible he was in building his program and a community-based program. When he came to campus and when we spoke with him, he really did a nice job to articulate his vision for success. And he did his homework on the University of Massachusetts, on our athletic program and our basketball program, as well as the A10, and where he thought we fit and how we could have a level of success that we haven't had in the past. And last but not least, it was a great fit for us because he's a New England kid. He's from this area. He understands that the power of this brand of the university, and he appreciates being from this area. And honestly, it was evident in the way that he coaches, the passion that he has, and the ways that he builds a program were something that we really wanted to make sure that he brought to the University of Massachusetts. So it's my pleasure to welcome Torrey, his wife Heather, their kids Tyler, Avery, and Braden. Welcome, guys, to the University of Massachusetts and the Amherst community. We're excited to have you here. As you finish up school over the next couple of months, we'll get you here this summer. And for our 11th head coach of women's basketball, ladies and gentlemen, Tory Verdi.
I'm not sure if you heard that comment from my son. He didn't think that jersey was going to fit me. So, obviously, Coach Kellogg talked about playing, 3-on-3 during noon. I guess I got to get my butt out there. But wow, thank you, Ryan, Doris, too. And I don't know how much I owe you for all those comments that you've said about me, but obviously today's being day one. I'm in debt already, so I appreciate everything that you guys have said about me personally. Well, good morning. And first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Chancellor Suba Swami, Director of Athletics Ryan Bamford, and Senior Associate Director of Athletics Doris Griffin, and the rest of the athletic administration for this unbelievable opportunity to be the next women's basketball coach here at the University of Massachusetts. I was once told that UMass was a really smart school with really smart people. Well, that's obviously true, because those smart people made a really smart hire when they chose me. All kidding aside, I'm very thankful for this opportunity, and I'm so excited about the future of our women's basketball program. The last 4 days have been a whirlwind for my family and myself. And speaking of my family, I'd like to introduce them all to you. So if you would stand up and be recognized. My wife, Heather. My children, Tyler, Avery, and Braden. Also here with me today is my mother, Beverly. And lastly, my brother, Todd, and his family. Thank you for your support. So I have to share with you the one question that I received the most in the last 10 days. Why UMass? Why UMass? My answer was, why not UMass? I truly believe that we can win here and win big. But in order to do that, and to make that happen, we got to take care of all the little things and control the controllables. We will no longer get outworked and get outplayed. However, we will play hard, we will play smart, we will play together, and we will have a lot of fun. And when you do all that, you will have success. Our team is going to be fun to watch. We're going to be fast and furious, and we're going to dictate both offensively and defensively for 40 minutes. And in the end, we will win. The culture that surrounds this program will change. Expectations will be on the rise. Accountability will be apparent, and a winning attitude will be instilled. Our team's image will be unselfish, tough, hard-nosed, disciplined, prepared, composed, and lastly, relentless. It's time to gain respect from the Atlantic 10 Conference and the rest of the country. It's time to win and win big. So again, I appreciate the warm welcome, and I can't wait to visit with all of you. But first, I gotta roll up my sleeves and get to work. Thank you for being here today.